Hey everyone, it's Miss Billman. This is the Unit 1 Lesson 2 homework. We're looking at factor puzzles. This will be something that you really want to make sure you know what you're doing because we're going to use them later in this book. So between 12 and 15, I'm going to look for a number that goes into both. I know 3 is the only number that goes into the both, so I'm going to list it on either side. So now I'm going to ask myself, if that was in the 3's row, something multiplied by 3 equals 12. And it's 4, and that also goes into 8. I'm going to ask my same question to myself and get a 2. Because 2 multiplied by 4 is 8. What multiplied by 3 is 15? 5. Bring the 5 down and the 2 across. And my missing square is 10. These are very much like a puzzle, but I think they're fun, and it feels really good to finish it and get the right answer. So between 8 and 14, 2 is the column they would be in, and 7 would be the row for 14 and 21. When I multiply 7 by something to get 21, it's 3, so that'd be the 3 column. And 4 multiplied by 3 is 12. I'm going to start looking at numbers that I think, okay, what would they have in common? Now I know 8 and 12 can be 2. It could be 4 as well. If I put the 4 row down, it would be in the 3 column with 12 and 15. 3 times 5 is 15, and 4 multiplied by 2 is 8. And 5 multiplied by 2 is 10. Now, this is the same process I will be using for 4 through 12. Now, I'm going to give some very specific directions on the next one, number 5, just so you can hear me talk it through a little bit clearer. These do go quickly, and the more you do them, the quicker they will become, and you'll wonder, wow, I can't believe it took so long. So number 5, I have 32, 40, and 45. The 40 and 45, I know for a fact. I could have 5 or 8. I'm going to do 5 because it's a 0 and a 5. What multiplied by 5 is 40 is 8. Pull that across my row. 8 multiplied by 4, that's a column, is 32. Bring the 4 down. 5 multiplied by what? 9 is 45, the 9 across, and the missing number would be 36. So if you see, I could have started with the 32 and 4, and I kind of thought about it for a second. I kind of was like, ooh, this looks like a good idea, but instead I went to the 40 and 45. I did that because I knew it had to have been a 5. Why? Because it ends with a 5 in the 45 and a 0 in the 40. When I did that, it made it super easy for me to figure out the rows. When we're talking about columns, it's the ones on top, the columns and the rows. It's like somebody took a snapshot of a multiplication table. It might be a scrambled multiplication table like you saw in lesson 1, but these factor puzzles will help when we're looking at unit rates. We use them later in our book around second trimester, probably towards the end. We use them there for any kind of ratios. They're super helpful, and it's a good tool to have in your toolbox of knowledge for math. I'll walk through number 9 now. So 63, 35, and 27. Now I know 63 and 27, they have the number 9 in common. I'm going to put 9 on the rows. And I'm going to ask myself, what multiplied by 9 equals 63? It's 7. And what multiplied by 9 equals 27? Well, that's going to be 3. So those are columns. I bring those numbers down. 7 multiplied by something equals 35. It's 5. Bring that row across, and 3 multiplied by 5 is 15. I could have started with the 35 and 63, but those numbers did not jump out to me immediately. It was the 63 and 27 that I knew are 9s. So 28 and 32. This one doesn't jump out at me immediately either, but it is 4. I know 4 multiplied by 7 is 28, so I drag that number across. 7 multiplied by 7 is 49, and I end up with a missing number of 56. Number 11, 63, 72, and 28. So 63 and 28 those are not numbers where I'm like, oh, I know this off the top of my head. But I think 9 for sure was 63 and 72. 9 multiplied by 7 is 63. That's a column. And then 8's the other column. I get a missing square of 32. 49 and 42, well, I know that is 7. And 7 multiplied by 6 is 42. Bring the 6 across and the 7 across. 6 multiplied by 4 equals 24. And 7 multiplied by 4 is 28. So describe strategies for solving the factor puzzles. Some people they might forget that we do a lot of writing in math. It might be a different kind of writing, not necessarily like a narrative or creative. We did that last year though. But it's writing about the steps you did and really thinking about what mathematical processes or what strategies you used. So I asked myself, what's the greatest, so the largest number that can go into both of the numbers, whether it was the columns across the columns down or the rows across. It was important that I asked myself that because it gave me a springboard into solving the rest of the factor puzzle.